Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I wanted to give you a guide for the very hard Mythril Mine dungeon in the dungeon ranking event. We have 4 normal bosses in this dungeon and then we can choose between Blue Dragon and Shiva as our final boss. However, if you have noticed, every boss is only weak to fire and has no other elemental weakness, so ideally you want to bring some single target fire weapons, and if you have some good overboosted AoE weapons they will be also helpful, because those 3 soldiers they are one boss, so you have to defeat all 3 of them, and then we have 3 other bosses that have some adds with them. Also, most bosses are not immune to physical or magical defense decrease, so you could bring some weapons or materia to debuff them, and also fire breach or weapons that decrease fire resistance. Gallonbaloir Acana is the only boss that he cannot debuff his defenses. However, every other boss you can debuff both their attacks and defense. As for the dungeon map, this is our starting point and we have to go and fight Sahagin Prince first, and then we can choose between Gallonbaloir and those 3 soldiers, and after at least one battle we unlock Gallonbaloir Acana. However, in this dungeon we also have only 2 score boosts. The first one we can choose is on Sahagin Prince and the second one is on Gallonbaloir Acana. And then we go to this area. This is the Blue Dragon, but if you go further we have Shiva, so the harder boss, and we have also 3 rare chests in this dungeon. One is here next to the Gallonbaloir, the second one is next to Blue Dragon, and the third one is hidden. It's around this area, so you have to go past Shiva and go to this corner. I'll be using Cloud, Zack and Sephiroth, and my team is at 281,000 power. Also, I'll be using Cloud as my healer and DPS, and Zack and Sephiroth as my pure DPS characters. I have Cloud equipped with the Fire Arcanum costume, also the fire weapon and the Crimson Flare because it increases fire damage for all allies, and then I also have the Crystal Sword for heals and just one materia to increase Cloud's stats a little bit, and then I have 3 sub-weapons to increase his HP, give him a little bit more physical attack and also heal, so Cloud's at 7.8 HP and 2.9 physical attack and also 2000 heal. For Zack I have the Fire Arcanum costume together with the fire weapon, also Hellfire and 1 fire materia just to increase his stats a little bit. Also I have 2 Easter event weapons because they both increase magic attack and fire potency. And for the other sub-weapons I have both of them, they further increase fire potency and his attack and HP a little bit. But I use 2 event weapons because I frankly do not have anything better. But if you have Zack's Crystal Sword then it will be a better option. But that makes Zack 7.7 HP and 3.4 magic attack. And lastly I have Sephiroth, who is built non-elemental, but because I do not have any more fire weapons, so that was the best I could do. So magic ability potency costume, Mega Flare, Protector's Blade and Crimson Blade for the AoE fire damage. And then I have HP weapon and Bahamut Rapier to increase magic attack, and also another event weapon, Ashura, because it increases magic attack a little bit. So it puts Sephiroth at 8.2 HP and also 3.9 magic attack. Also, most of my materia slots are empty, so you can use them as stat sticks or bring something like Fire Breach or other materia to decrease defense or attack of the bosses if you need to. I also use many event weapons, but if you have bare normal weapons, obviously they are much more superior to the event weapons. This is just the team I'll be using for this dungeon, mainly because I do not have better options, but there are more viable characters. Obviously Fire, Lucia and Aerith, they are the best current option since they also have the Fire banner currently on, but if you have other characters with overboosted fire weapons, Glenn, Barret, Nanaki and few others, you can also use them. I'll be doing this dungeon with a 40% score boost, And let's take a look at the route I'll be taking. So the first one, Sahagin Prince, because we have no other choice, but then I'll be going for Gallonbaloir, and I'll take those 3 soldiers after that, and I leave this Gallonbaloir Acana as last enemy, but also on this Acana I will take the score boost. So Sahagin Prince first, so he will start charging his attack, and ideally you want to kill him before he finishes it. He won't hurt you too much if you don't manage to, but ideally you just want to finish him. So that's fine, but if you don't manage to do that, just switch defense and you won't take too much damage. And now those trance abilities. As I said, you can choose one of the score boosts. If your team is better than mine, of course, go at least for this. You can try to go at least for this 15% score boost, but for me it will be too hard, so I take this fire potency boost. And here's the second chest, and normal chest with those items, but also here you will fight a random enemy. And actually it doesn't matter what you do. You can use this time to heal and do anything you want to. Also, if you want to, you could bring some fog materia, because some of the soldiers, they can apply fog status. But now let's go to Gallonbaloir. And here immediately switch to defense. And I will actually switch to Sephiroth. And just this. And try to kill him as soon as possible before he does Thunderfall, but at this point, after you have taken the 50% fire potency boost, you should be able to do it very quickly. Only after you start taking those score boosts that also apply debuffs to you on the first boss, those layer bosses, they will start to become really tanky, and you have to take more hits and use more attacks. And here you could take magic defense 60% if you want to, but I will actually take this fire potency and we should be fine. Also, here's another random encounter that you can use to build your ADB, and also limit breaks if you want to, but I'll stay on Sephiroth here. Really? I wanted to stay on Sephiroth and heal a little bit, but that's fine. Now, we should be fine. I stay on Sephiroth mainly because we have those 3 other soldiers next, and I use Sephiroth as my AoE fire damage dealer, so I want to keep it this way. And now just go for the soldiers. So switch to Sephiroth and immediately start casting Firagas. Zack can also do that, and that should be fine. But remember, we do so much damage mainly because we have taken that 50% fire potency buff. And now let's see. And here I will take this physical defense 60% because the Gallonbaloir Acana, he will strike you and you do not want to lose too much HP, but it depends what you need. I think this is the best one. And I will see what I can do. Ideally, I want to use some cocktails. I think that should be fine. Actually, I will use 3. If you want to, you could use some... I also use ether to give Sephiroth a little bit more. But if you want, you can use cottage here, because we'll get another mega elixir. So it's up to you. If you are lower on HP and you don't want to heal, that'll be also fine. But Gallonbaloir Acana. I'll wait a second and now I switch to defense. And after this, we can go back and start DPSing it. But also, if you have your limit breaks ready, you can immediately cast them and you will avoid that electrocute. That should actually, yeah, that's over. But remember, if you take those score boosts on Sahagin Prince, this enemy becomes much harder. Also, if you feel like you can get higher score and you don't need like this additional item that I used for more fire potency, you can skip it. And then I'll choose the score boost 40%, but it also decreases our physical and magical attack and fire potency minus 40%. So, and here's the last chest. And this is where we get Mega Elixir that I will use now. Mega Elixir and all 3 cocktails. Also, here is this chest next to the blue dragon boss, but we are going for Shiva. And for this third last item, rare item, it should be around this area. So next to Shiva, you just have to go past her and it will be here. So first, let's use our limit breaks. And now just the DPS. If you haven't taken any defensive buffs, you definitely have to kill Shiva here, otherwise you will die. And I hope it'll be enough. Yep, barely. So yeah, this is a dungeon with the 40% score boost. And personally, I cannot take another additional 15% score boost because with this team, I just can't. I can't take Shiva. I can't kill her before she does her attack, and that's where I die. So 40% for this team is the best I can do. But if you have a stronger team, obviously, I recommend trying additional 15% score boost on the Sahagin Prince and then taking on Shiva. So 1.9 million score S plus, so that's fine in my opinion. But also, again, if you have a stronger team, then you can use less items, you choose a less safe approach, and then obviously you get a higher score. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.